What if someone hijacked a plane, took $200,000 in cash, jumped out of the aircraft at 10,000 feet in the middle of a storm, and then simply disappeared forever? No body, no parachute, no confirmed identity. The FBI investigated for 45 years and still closed the case with one answer. We don't know who he was. On November 24th, 1971, the night before Thanksgiving, a man using a fake name boarded a short domestic flight. He wore a business suit. He ordered a bourbon and soda. And by the time the plane landed, he had created the only unsolved skyjacking in American history. The world remembers him by one name, D.B. Cooper. But who was he really? Did he survive the jump? And how did one mistake by a reporter accidentally rename a criminal forever? Stay with me, because this is not just a hijacking story. This is the greatest disappearing act of the 20th century. Before starting the whole breakdown, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. It will take only few seconds. November 24, 1971. Portland International Airport. A man identifying himself as Dan Cooper walks to the counter of Northwest Orient Airlines and purchases a one-way ticket to Seattle for $20 cash. No ID required, no security screening. This was the 1970s. He boards Flight 305, a Boeing 727 with 36 passengers and 6 crew members. Witnesses later describe him as calm, polite, and well spoken. Mid 40s, around 5'10, dark hair, wearing a black tie, white shirt, raincoat, and loafers. He sits in seat 18E toward the rear of the aircraft. At first, nothing seems unusual. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper calls over a flight attendant named Florence Schaffner. He hands her a small note. At first, she assumes it's a phone number, something that happened often in those days. She slips it into her pocket. Cooper leans in and calmly says, "Miss, you'd better read that note. I have a bomb." Florence opens it. The note states that Cooper has a bomb in his briefcase and demands $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, a fuel truck waiting in Seattle. He then opens his briefcase just enough for her to see what appear to be red sticks and wires. Florence doesn't scream. She doesn't panic. She walks straight to the cockpit. He, Captain William Scott, is informed of the hijacking. Instead of chaos, something strange happens. The flight remains calm. Cooper orders another drink, bourbon and soda. He tips the flight attendant. He speaks politely. Passengers have no idea what's happening. The plane circles Seattle for nearly 2 hours while authorities prepare the ransom. On the ground, the FBI scrambles. They collect 10,000 unmarked $20 bills, carefully recording each serial number. At 5:39 p.m., the plane lands in Seattle. Cooper gets exactly what he asked for, $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes. Once the ransom is delivered, Cooper releases all passengers. Only the crew remains on board. Now things take a darker turn. Cooper instructs the pilots to fly to Mexico City but with very specific conditions. Altitude 10,000 feet. Speed slow. Landing gear down. Rear stairs lowered. These instructions are critical and later prove Cooper knew the Boeing 727 extremely well. The plane takes off again. It's night, cold, and raining. Somewhere over southern Washington, Cooper does something no one had ever done before or successfully since. He lowers the rear stairs mid-flight. At approximately 8:13 p.m., a warning light flashes in the cockpit. The pressure changes. The crew knows Cooper has jumped. No one sees him leave. No one hears a scream. Just silence. Did Cooper want to be remembered? Some investigators later asked an interesting question. What if Cooper expected to be misidentified? He never showed ID. He paid in cash. He gave a generic name. Dan Cooper was also the name of a European comic book hero popular in Canada, a detail that has fueled speculation for decades. Was it coincidence? Or did Cooper intentionally choose a name that meant nothing? Because he planned to vanish? After Cooper disappeared into the night, something unexpected happened. He didn't just escape, he inspired others. Between 1971 and 1972, airplane hijackings in the United States skyrocketed. Criminals realized something shocking. Air travel had almost no security. No metal detectors, no ID checks, and one man had proven that jumping from a plane was possible. In the years following Cooper's jump, at least five hijackers attempted similar escapes using parachutes. Unlike Cooper, they survived. Some landed safely in rural areas, some were injured but lived, some were captured within days. Every single one of them proved something critical. A parachute jump from a commercial aircraft was survivable. This destroyed the early FBI theory that Cooper must have died instantly. If others lived, why not him? What made Cooper different? The copycats made mistakes. They panicked, they jumped in the wrong conditions, they didn't understand aircraft mechanics. Cooper was different. He chose a Boeing 727, the only commercial jet with rear stairs. He gave exact flight instructions. He demanded multiple parachutes, a move that suggested intelligence, not desperation. This wasn't luck, this was planning. The FBI launched one of the largest manhunts in US history, codenamed NORJAC, Northwest Hijacking. Agents searched forests, helicopters scanned rivers, military aircraft surveyed rural Washington. Nothing. No body. No parachute. No briefcase. Hundreds of suspects were investigated over decades. None could be proven. Why the evidence failed? Rain destroyed footprints, dense wilderness hid remains, rivers carried debris miles away, and Cooper left behind almost nothing. No confirmed DNA. No usable fingerprints. No witnesses who truly remembered him. It was as if he had never existed. 8 years later, the case took a shocking turn. In 1980, a young boy named Brian Ingram was vacationing with his family near the Columbia River. While digging in the sand, he uncovered bundles of $20 bills. At first, no one believed it mattered, until the serial numbers were checked. They matched Cooper's ransom money exactly. What this meant? The money confirmed Cooper was real. The hijacking happened, and at least some of the cash entered the environment. But it raised new questions. Why was the money buried? Why only part of it? Why wasn't it spent? Some believe Cooper died and the money drifted downstream. Others believe he buried it intentionally. The truth remains unknown. Pilot Tom Bohan studied the flight path closely. He believed Cooper made a fatal miscalculation. Strong winds, poor visibility, limited navigation tools. Bohan suggested Cooper landed miles away from his intended drop zone, possibly into dense forest, possibly into water. If true, this would explain why nothing was ever found. After all the theories, after decades of investigation, after thousands of pages of reports, there is still no name, no arrest, no final answer. The case of D.B. Cooper did not end with a courtroom verdict or a breaking news headline. It ended quietly, in silence. For more than 40 years, investigators searched forests, rivers, and memories. They interviewed hundreds of suspects. They analyzed flight paths again and again. They chased every lead, no matter how small. And still, the man who walked onto a plane in 1971 never truly walked back into history. What makes this story different isn't just the crime, it's the absence. No body to mourn, no face to confirm, no confession to close the door. Just a gap in the sky, and a question mark that never faded.
D.B. Cooper didn't just hijack a plane, he hijacked certainty. And that he showed the world that sometimes, even with witnesses, evidence, and time, the truth can still slip away. Think about it. In a world filled with cameras, records, and data, one man using a fake name managed to erase himself completely. Again, not for days, not for years, but forever. And maybe that's why this mystery still lives. Because deep down it challenges something we want to believe, that every story has an ending, that every crime has a solution, that every secret eventually comes out. But D.B. Cooper reminds us, some stories don't end, they just stop. And somewhere the last person who truly knew the truth has already lived and died. And if Cooper survived, he carried one of the greatest secrets of the Ersatz century with him. No fame, no credit, no confession, just silence. And if he didn't survive, then the wilderness became his witness. Ken, the river became his grave and the sky kept his name. The FBI closed the case. But the mystery never closed on us. Because every time this story is told, every time someone asks what really happened, and DB Cooper lives again, and now the story passes to you to decide what you believe, to decide which ending feels true. A man who escaped or a man who vanished? Because in the end, the mystery isn't who DB Cooper was, it's how someone could disappear so completely that even half a century later, we're still looking up at the sky, wondering, if this story stayed with you, if it made you pause, if it made you question what you thought you knew, then you're already part of the mystery. Subscribe for more unsolved stories like this. And leave a comment below. Did DB Cooper survive or did the sky take him? Over and out.